Rev up your engines! CX-9, and the guy's the original owner, so we learned a lot about this vehicle by analyzing it. It's his wife's car, and the reason they got it is rather hilarious. They had two diesel Volkswagens that got bought back from Dieselgate. His wife got this, and later he got a used Lexus, which he loves. And we'll give a total honest analysis of it. Now, it's been in a few wrecks. It's hit the curb here, and he had the wheel bearing put on, and then he had to have the wheel bearing done again. So, it's not a problem he's had normally. You start hitting curbs, you'll wreck wheel bearings. That's just what happens. And it's almost always the right front, because when you're driving, you can see in front of yourself, but you can't see in front of the passenger as much, so that's the one that usually hits stuff. So you look under the hood, well, see the heart of the beast, which is the Diagnostic technology engine. Guys, it's a 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine. Now, being a relatively large four-cylinder engine with all-wheel drive, it gets 26 on the highway, which is okay considering its size. Even though it's not a V6, it still has decent horsepower. And to make guys like me happy, it does have a 6-speed automatic transmission. The ones I've driven before, really fun to drive. We'll see what happens when we road test this. Now, granted, this is a turbocharged engine, but it's a 2.5 liter. It's not like it's a little bitty 1.5 or 1.1 turbo. It's already got a decent size. And from my experience with these Mazdas, they have not particularly had any turbocharged problems. Now, this one's been in a few wrecks, so it's gone through the washing machine a little bit. Let's start it up and listen to it. Sounds perfectly smooth, you can see. Got 137,000 miles on it. And as you can see, the control for your right hand is pretty good. It's right where you want it. Gives you all kinds of selections of what to go through. Yes, it does have the horrible electric parking brake, which I hate, but what can you do? But on the other hand, you can go manual shifting if you want. Go up, down, you can put it in sport mode. I realize this is Mazda's biggest thing, so plenty of room. It does have third row seating. You don't get much of view, but it's there. And of course, when you put it down, you get a lot more space. One of the reasons he brought it here was for me to see what kind of shape it's in with all this mileage. Turn the idiot lights on and we'll check it out. It's a CX-9, 2.5 liter automatic, all-wheel drive. This is my water bottle. Gee, I wonder where it went. It's the exact same one I lost last year. Since it's his wife's vehicle, I'm assuming she bought it to match the decor, because it does. Being a new vehicle, it went through pretty fast, and a lot of it's good, and there are a few faults here. Powertrain, we'll see what that is. It has a code for fuel pump control module A crazy P064A006C code. But it's thinking there's some kind of problem in the fuel pump control, which may or may not be true, so we'll erase the code. And it's got a code for the front body control module. We'll see what nonsense that is. There's a problem with line bus B. That's computer control stuff. Connectivity of a master unit has a code. We'll see what that is. Problem with a speaker amplifier. Well, we'll erase that too. It's got a code for the blind spot monitoring on the left front. We'll see what that is. Invalid data received from electronic control module, powertrain control module A. So we'll erase that too. Now realize this thing's been wrecked multiple times. A lot of times wires might get pinched, you'll get weird communication codes, but as long as the car runs okay, you live with it. Complex cars with all this electronics, they get in wrecks, you're going to end up getting squirrely codes. If it works okay, it's a lot of stuff you'll just blow off. Check out the live data. We'll start her up. We'll go to live data. It's got active air calibration on the front. I mean, these are very complex cars. And they've got variable valve timing. These Skyactiv technology things have a lot of technology in them. You can see misfire counts 0000. 4R0 shows you the turbocharged boost pressure, the engine oil temperature. Now, you don't see it on the dash, but the computer knows. You can see the equivalency ratio. 1 is perfect, it's 0.9, and then 1, 1.01, 1. It's almost perfect. Fuel injection amount in milligrams per cylinder. A lot of interesting data. The temperature of the intercooler outlet air temperature for the turbo. Sensor's good, 2.6, 2.7. It's a 2.5 liter engine, so it's about the same, which is what you want. Gives you information on the thermostats because this is Skyactiv technology. They're trying to get them as efficient as possible. So the thermostat has a lot more to do in this car making it run right than in a normal car. Shows you the turbocharger inlet pressure, the wastegate positions, if it's going too high, even the oil pressure on the variable valves. Close the hood, take it for a spin. Beautiful color though. Mazda knows how to paint cars. After all, this particular one's made in Japan. It's got a J on the VIN number. J means made in Japan. First thing I noticed, even though it's got 137,000 miles, this baby idles smooth as silk. And yeah, the leather's wearing off the steering wheel. I'd recover that. And it's a relatively high vehicle, not outrageous, but we can go over my speed bump here. There's no dragging or anything. So here we go. We'll check it out in the bumpy Rhode Island road. And takes those bumps pretty good. It's got a decent suspension system. That's all still original struts and everything with 137,000 miles, and it still rides pretty smooth. We get out to our little left turn here. Nobody's coming to the right. All right, here we go. Whee! It gets up and goes. You heard it burn a little bit of rubber. Now, it is a turbo, but it's a 2.5 liter, so it's a reasonable size engine, and it's got plenty of zip. You step on the gas, it does pick up and go. And when you want to go into a turn, turns on a dime. No particular oversteer, understeer. It's something for an SUV of this size, really. See their heads-up display there. It is kind of an afterthought. It doesn't match the rest of the car. I would have wished they incorporated it into the dash better myself, but hey, running-wise, it's fine. And as we take off again, hey, this thing's got some zip. Now, he was worried about that wheel bearing, and I can hear a little noise coming from the front wheel bearing. So, indeed, it's going to need that wheel bearing again. It has hit curbs and stuff, and realize hitting curbs will eventually destroy your wheel bearings. Now, they'll get bent a little bit, maybe a few thousandths of an inch, and you won't hear it at first, but sometimes, as much as years later, you'll start to hear the noise, and then you'll know, you're hitting the curbs on that side, and the noise is definitely coming from that side. I would also check the rear ones too, because if you hit the right front, odds are the right rear's probably been hit too, and that wheel bearing's probably got some wear to it. Now, I took it for a good spin, so let's turn this back on and check codes. See if any of those squirrely codes came back. No fault codes detected. So, all those squirrely communication codes, they may have never been reset after the damage was fixed from the wrecks it's been in, so who knows, but everything's working that he needs to be working. So you get an older car, you get squirrely codes in a car that's been wrecked a few times, do like I just did, erase them all. And if none of them come back, well then you know, well, no one bothered to reset it when they did the work. Or if they do come back and they're squirrely stuff that you don't care about, the radio communication and the radio works okay, you just blow it off. Pretty good shape after all these years. Now, unfortunately, you won't be able to buy them in the future because they're not making them anymore. They're replacing them with the CX-90s. Now, this is a loaded version of the CX-9, and he paid in the low 30s, right? Take a gander of a loaded CX-90. From what I see, they're like 60 grand or more. So, you're gonna pay twice the price. Yes, the new ones have their new straight 6-cylinder engine, blah, 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 blah. But, hey, this 2.5 liter has got insane power, an excellent transmission. Hey, it might be a great engine, but for $60,000, I could think of better things to do with my money. Like buy one of these old ones used and save even more money. This thing's still got a lot of life. Original engine, original tranny. Sure, his wife runs into a few things, and it's held up. It's still going, you know? It didn't fall apart. And all because Volkswagen had Dieselgate. If they wouldn't have had Dieselgate, they'd probably still be driving those Volkswagen diesels around. Those engines can go a long time. But this is a replacement, and they made a wise move. My advice is never, ever buy any large SUV that Volkswagen makes. They are endless money pits. Every customer I had that bought one said to me one of the worst vehicles they ever had, and they never bought another one. But as for these Mazdas, they can be pretty good vehicles in the price points of the old ones, though the new ones are getting outrageously expensive, and they're playing a different ball game then. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Frogtown61 says, where can I buy headlights? I got a 97 Toyota Celica Coupe. I tore up my fenders and ran over a fence. This is my first car and I want to scrap her. My grandpappy says I might have to. Okay, go to Hemmings Auto News Online, Hemmings. There's people that sell just about everything there. And it is a Toyota. Somewhere there's going to be aftermarket stuff you can find. Search through the internet, but Hemmings Auto News is basically a listing of people all over the world who sell parts of just about any car that's ever been made. Somebody will probably either have a used one or there's aftermarket ones. Just keep going. Look through there and you'll find guys that specialize in Toyota parts, and usually you can call them up on a phone, ask them, can they find it, or do they know someone? And eventually, you'll find someone. You know that old you're only 3 people away from anyone on the planet? Well, maybe you're only 3 people away from finding headlights for your Celica. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.